Coming up this week on the OK Bloomer podcast.
It's Zack
And I
Morris.
said maybe that's why Blossom didn't approve of Kevin, because he looks exactly like Zack Morris, and she knows that Zack Morris is a trash human being.
I wrote, "Are you kidding me? It's Kevin is Zack Morris. Six has been saving her bell for Zack Morris."
Yeah.
I'll give you a second there. I'll do it again. We learned that Six has been
got
saving her bell for Zack Morris. Second time better?
Yeah.
I expected a lot of laughter for that. I was proud of that. Okay, fine. You know what? You guys, I'm gonna keep going. Okay.
Don't know about the future. Don't.
They don't care about the future, because they live it in the past. Sal and Curtis are taking all 5 seasons of Blossom to task. You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll be weak in the knees. This show's got more range than Nick on the keys. Only gal in the house, and that's how she goes. One brother was a junkie, and the other one was. Weekly lessons coming fast in the Russo flat. Blossom's teenage girl problems are as big as her hat. So take your opinionations and make them shine. It's the OK Bloomer podcast, and it's about damn time.
Don't know. Don't know. Don't know.
You're watching the OK Bloomer podcast, where myself, Curtis Anderson, and my best friend Sal Accardo, we go back in time. We go back to the early 90s. And what did two young men do in the early 90s? Well, we didn't watch Blossom, that's for sure. But as adults now, we're watching Blossom, and everybody's paying for it. This is the OK Bloomer podcast, where we go episode by episode, talking about the cameos, the yet-to-be-famous laundry list of actors and actresses that appeared in this amazing TV show that went on to become big names. Most of the cast of Blossom, however, not on that list. And it's a shame, because every time we see Joey Lawrence, he just outacts
It really
everyone.
is a shame.
It really is. That's been my biggest takeaway so far, and we talk about this all the time. How is Joey Lawrence not in some sort of... How has he not been given some sort of like action hero movie, comic book character reoccurring role? Because, man, he had such amazing acting chops that nobody talks about. He's just the woe guy. And that, I guess, is his blessing and his curse. Woe put a lot of money on his kitchen table, but it didn't advance his career.
I must have. You know what? Maybe he's just having fun, hanging out with his brothers, doing things with them.
Maybe.
You
you look at
they do
someone
a
like,
podcast,
was it Paul Rubens?
They
like,
make movies together.
how he managed to get away from Pee Wee Herman and get other roles, even if they're just like cameo roles. But that never really happened. Like, has Joey Lawrence been in really any movies? I don't think so.
None that I've seen, that's for sure.
So, anyway, justice for Joey. It's the OK Bloomer podcast. Curtis Anderson, Sal Accardo. We have the Phenom on the ones and twos in the booth making this show happen. And this is just this is a chance for us to all get together, have some beers, have some laughs, and remember what was the early 90s, but through the eyes of Blossom Russo.
It really is fun to go back and look at like a timestamp of what life was like for teenagers back in that time. You know what I mean?
It's a podcast about the Blossom TV show, but it's really about remembering the 90s. Like, that's what it's at its core.
Of course.
It's a step off for remembering how life was in 1991, 92, and as we get to 93, 94, and 95, and how different the world was, and how different thoughts and values on primetime television were back in the 90s as well. It's just been fun. It's been fascinating, and I like to laugh, and I like to drink, and this is an excuse to do both. And I like to hang out with good people.
Sure.
Love you guys.
Yeah.
Both of you. Aw.
Oh, wow. This is, I'm feeling very nice inside now.
I'm very excited about this episode, dude. Is this actually episode 50 of the OK Bloomer podcast, you guys?
This is episode 50.
That's
episode
crazy, man.
50.
Wow.
This is amazing.
We're almost halfway there.
Anything else, Sal, for the intro, or should we hand the reins over to Mr. Phenom himself?
Let's hand it over to the Phenom.
Season 3, Episode 13, Losing Your Religion. Directed by Bill Bixby, written by Josh Goldstein and Jonathan Prince. First aired on December 7th, 1992 to 22.4 million viewers. Disney Plus says Blossom advises Six on intimacy. Joey and Anthony buy a junker. IMDb says, as part of a social studies midterm, Blossom becomes Jewish for the week. In the meantime, she becomes concerned when Six tells her she is planning to lose her virginity to a guy from school. And TVDB says Six considers having sex with her new boyfriend. Blossom's class changes religions for a week, so she seeks information about Judaism from a wisecracking rabbi. Joey and Anthony buy an old car together.
Can you say wisecracking rabbi one more time?
She seeks information about Judaism from a wisecracking rabbi.
Is there any other kind?
I would expect nothing less from a rabbi. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
that's
it?
good stuff.
All right.
That's
Was
it?
this a top-rated episode? I feel like this should have been a top-rated episode.
It was not a top.
Am I the only one that loved this episode? Oh my god, I'm so excited.
All right, man. Then why don't you take it away? This
Losing
is
My
all you.
Religion. We got an REM reference. Far from the
Yeah,
best
and again,
REM song.
this-
Anybody a REM fan?
Yeah, you know, this is a good song.
Stand in the place where you live. No? What's the other
Yeah.
one?
No, I know the song.
They had that one song that was really different. Was it Drive? Going back to the
Sure.
90s. Because REM was all very like ho-hum and feel good for the most part, except for Everybody
Yeah.
Hurts. But then they had this one like kind of grungy song called Drive that was really good, and then they never made music like that again. But anyway, okay, we're losing My Religion. We're starting with an REM reference. Okay, we have Sad
Yeah,
Blossom
and this
on the
is
couch.
another one of those. It's another one of those episode titles that's like named after a song because we got like The Runaway and we got some other ones that I can't remember off the top of my head.
Wake Up Little Susie.
So I feel, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I thought this would be a recurring theme on the show because it's so heavily musically influenced that I thought that, you know, this would be something going forward, but it's not. But I actually didn't get the title because it has a parentheses in between losing your and religion, and I didn't get the purpose of that. But once I watched the episode, it all kind of made sense.
I was just impressed they had the right your. I'm so used to reading on social media. That's the first thing I did. I
Yeah,
was like,
right.
oh, they got it. And maybe they had to switch it up a little bit so REM didn't sue them. When we got
Like when you read YOUR dorks underneath our podcast.
Cuts deep, man. I don't know how it went on. I was like, oh man, toddlers are trying to drag us now.
Yeah, it's something.
Yeah, I'll see that comment and raise you a 4th grade education. So our boss at the radio station 2 bosses ago came from a different company, and before he started, I ran into someone who worked for him at the place he was leaving. And, you know, I'm like, oh, I don't know much about him. Is he a good guy? And this girl who's like a teenager just gets this like blank expression. Goes, he likes rock and roll. I think about that all the time. It was the
So
weirdest
he's-
thing ever. So when I thought
So
about
he's
Don
not a
Rio
good guy?
naming all these episodes after after songs, he likes rock and roll. What teenage girl calls it rock and roll? I guess well, she was like probably like 19, like she was working at a store. He likes rock and roll. All right, ladies, sit down before you fall down.
Scatman Don loves rock and roll.
It's all coming together. We're learning a lot about Don Rio this season, like for real. He's just he's like ruling his kingdom. He won't let people get too much out of his headspace. They try to write. Like Jonathan Schmock wrote a great episode and never wrote again. He just has to like finesse the scripts. And here we have, written by Goldstein and Prince. We get Sad Blossom on the couch, and they make fun of TV. They're like, why does anybody watch TV? TV sucks. What are we doing here, folks? This is... Okay. So Nick's like,
Yeah,
you should
so
turn
she's
it off and
watching-
talk. And they turn off the TV, and they realize they can't talk because television has ruined our ability to communicate as human beings from one person to another. And oh God, it would only get much worse. But back in 1992, before they had social media, it was television that was driving wedges between families. And yes, that's what Don Rio was going for. They realized human communication sucks and turned the TV back on, Don Rio tells us, and that's the joke. Sal?
Yeah. Yeah, no. So Nick comes in while Blossom is like channel surfing, and he's like, oh, what are you watching? And she basically explains the plot of Melrose Place. where she's like, oh, a whole bunch of 20, like attractive 20 somethings who live in the same apartment complex. And then they flip the channel and they're watching a washed up celebrity pretend to use a product. And then they change the channel again and they say, oh, this is a show where the dad solves the kids' problems in 22 minutes. So they're describing their own show. And then, yeah. So that's the whole joke is like, why does anybody watch TV? And then they turn off the TV and realize that they have nothing to talk about. So they decide to watch the infomercial again. And again, I was like, half of a laugh there. I don't know.
I am dizzy trying to figure out who Rio is going after in this one. Like the net's too wide. They need to reel him in. Okay. Well, after whatever the hell that was, we get to the opening. It asks if I want to skip it. I do not. Oh, so good.
We are so bad at this.
I was sitting back in my chair.
It's a work in progress. It's a work in progress. We corral draw to the kitchen table. Tony and Joey bought an old junker for $300, and I said she has a name. It's Rhonda Joe Applegate. Okay. Disrespecting her like that.
Yeah, how dare you?
Yeah. Nick says, building a car will bring them together. Then they argue about whether they're going to keep or sell it immediately, and I guess that's funny. And then Blossom announces she's Jewish for a week. It's for a class.
Yeah,
One
she
week
said,
they have to pretend that
Nick
there's
goes,
something
how are
they're
you
not.
today? And she goes, I'm a little verklempt and a little famished. And then she's Jewish for the week, and her assignment is comparative religion. And then Sheila Garfinkel, who's actually Jewish, is Hindu for the week. And then Nick says, if she fails, does she have to light herself on fire? I'm not touching that one. I don't know. I don't know about it. I don't want to know about it. I'm not going to make a joke.
Yeah, Blossom says for 1 week they have to pretend there's something they're not. And I said, so an actress with good comedic timing?
Oh, jeez. Poor Blossom.
Yeah, one girl, she's going to be, what was it? Hindu? Was that the joke?
Yeah.
And then they named
the girl who's actually Jewish is going to be Hindu.
Yeah, and then Nick goes,
and that...
she has to light herself on fire if she gets an F. And man, that's...
Yeah, right?
That famous monk that lit himself on fire, big crazy moment in history. I remember
right.
I didn't even think I meant to do it. I accidentally shared a meme this is like 10 years ago of like Scorpion from Mortal Kombat standing beside him after like finish him. And of all people, Dylan Evans sent me a private message and was like, that's not cool, man. And I was like, wow, okay. Sorry, bro.
Wait, the guy that does the theme song to this very show?
Yeah. I got scolded by the guy who raps our Blossom intro. And it wasn't even like, again, I think I accidentally shared it. I was as outraged as everyone else. But yeah, he actually was like, man.
Yeah, right.
No. I said, okay. Yes. He takes his Mortal Kombat very seriously. Shout out Dylan Evans. Okay.
Lesson learned.
And Nick is day drinking. What a loser.
Yeah. That was weird. Open the fridge, cracks a beer. Blossom says that she got Jewish because the Russos are the only ones in the class who don't have a religion. Nick says he rejected the church in the 60s and that him and his wife decided to raise their kids on the strength of the family. And it's pretty family to be raising.
How'd that turn out for you, Nick?
Yeah, exactly. Blossom's mom followed in Buzz's religion, which is train schedules and happy hours.
Well, Blossom says she's the only one in the class that didn't have a religion. He goes, that's not true. We celebrate Christmas. And she said, oh, so we celebrate retail or something. I thought that was kind of funny. Our religion is retail. I was like, how very Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
And then, but she's having fun with it. This is a pretty good scene. She goes, well, sorry, Dad. Now that I'm Jewish, I have to question everything.
Right. Yeah.
You might have to take it away. I need new batteries. I should check that before we started. Keep going, Sal.
Uh-oh.
Keep going.
Well,
we it's all you. It's the Sal Accardo show. It's the Sal Accardo show.
Let's cut it.
Any new batteries?
Let's
Phenom,
cut it.
Phenom, red light's going off.
My dogs are freaking out, so let's just cut for a sec.
Okay. Deal with your dogs. I'll deal with my batteries.
I'm Curtis.
I'm Sal.
And here we are. It's D-Day for our little episode 100. This is where we've been living for the last month and a half.
It's been a long time, Curtis. We'll
show a close-up of the timeline. Can I use my line, Sal?
Sure.
There's more cuts than an emo kid listening to the Smiths.
Hey.
I've been waiting weeks to say that. So here it is. We're gonna delete it. We've got We've got it backed up to DVD about 3 times.
Yeah.
We've got about 6 copies of it on tape. It's MPEG'd into the main what do you call it here? Velocity and master control. What's that? The Edge?
Yes, it's on the Edge.
Whatever plays it on our channel, it's on there. So
we have multiple copies of it backed up. So really, we don't need it taking up all the space on the computer anymore. This is ridiculous. This was an hour and a half. How many cameras was that?
8.
8 cameras. All the lights in the world right in our studio.
Props to Jane Phil. I thought I'd feel a lot better than this.
Yeah.
It's like
I'm pretty disappointed in myself right now.
Yeah. It's like we ended a relationship there. It's like I've spent more time with this computer than anyone else.
Wow.
For a long time, yeah. Seems like we're breaking up now. Not Sal and I.
No.
The computer and I. Sal and I will never break up.
No, that's never gonna happen. That's never gonna happen.
We need another giant project as an excuse to keep hanging out.
Yeah.
So take your opinionations and make them shine. It's the OK Bloomer podcast, and it's about damn time.
Don't know. Don't know. Don't know.
I didn't know Sal had dogs.
My dogs. Hey, dog.
I have 2 dogs.
You got to deal with these dogs now.
That's right.
Phenom and I thought we were your dogs.
You guys are my dogs. Yeah, when you were saying thunder and lightning, were you talking about, did you hear it through me, or was that
no,
is it happening
here.
there too? Oh, okay, because I think that's why they're freaking out.
Oh, yeah. We bring the thunder and lightning to this podcast every week.
Damn right.
Probably why they're all freaking out. All right. Where did we leave off before that? Blossom says, shalom, and Nick says, aloha, and that's racially insensitive. But in 1992, that's a good joke, right?
Sure.
Yeah, okay, we're jumping back into it. Let's keep going. So Blossom's upstairs listening to, like, some spoken word. Is it, like, Yiddish?
I think it's like a Jewish prayer.
Yeah,
but
it's on her amazing Sony yellow boombox, which I'm sure is worth, like, $800 now. That gem.
Oh my god, it's so
how does
amazing.
she have a Sony boombox? The whole show is about her and Nick being poor in this poor house, and I never had a Sony boombox. I had off-brand from Crazy Kylie's.
Yeah, so did I, man. I got my boombox. I remember I saved up a bunch of money and ordered it from the Sears catalog.
Hell yeah, you did.
And it was awesome.
Right? So we get into
Six
it.
walks in and goes, "What are you listening to, Bob Dylan?" And she goes, "Maybe you should play it forwards instead of backwards."
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
So,
the Bob Dylan thing didn't land, but when she had to play it forward instead of backwards, I laughed aloud.
Yeah. So Six reveals that she's Catholic for the week and she's feeling guilty all the time, which I thought was pretty funny.
Yep. Out of nowhere,
Blossom
she
says
her and her boyfriend are going to do it for the first time tomorrow. And like, whoa, what just happened there? I was like, what? She has a boyfriend?
Yeah.
This is new.
Yeah. His name's Kevin, and Blossom thought that they were going to break up, but instead Six tells him that she wants to tell Kevin that she wants to go all the way.
Yeah, and
Horn
Blossom's
Dog
like,
Six doesn't want to wait.
Blossom's like, you're 15, and she gets into it with Six, and she's like, I can't believe you're going to do it, despite Blossom acting like a cat in heat, like, 3 episodes ago, and trying to crawl on top of Vinny on the couch, and now she's all high and mighty because Vinny rejected her. You're a bad friend, Blossom.
Yeah.
And then Six has a funny line, because, she's Catholic for the week, and she goes, hey, look, I'm trying to get the most out of my first confession. It's a great line. And Blossom's like, sex sucks. I thought that was pretty funny.
Was that an actual line?
No.
Oh.
Yeah.
There was a line here where she's like, when Catholics sin, they tell a priest. When Jews sin, they tell everybody.
Yeah, that's good stuff. See, this
Can you say Jews?
Pardon me?
I don't even know if you can even
I
say
think so.
it.
I think we're okay.
Are you allowed to say Jews anymore? Oh, okay.
All I know is that we pivot, and Tony can't get the car insured anywhere.
Yeah.
Did that go any? I didn't really clock that. Was that because he used to be a junkie, or like what? Why couldn't he get insured?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's because
he
like,
wrapped
he lost
10
his
cars around poles back in the day.
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
He lost so many licenses to DUIs, but then how does he drive an ambulance?
Yeah.
They don't bring that up at all.
No, they don't do background checks on medical workers.
There was a funny part where like he's talking on the phone and Blossom just walks in and she's like, "Bagel?" She's like holding up a bagel, and he's like, "Yes, it is." And then Blossom tells him to call those shady. Yeah, she tells him to call those shady insurance companies that are on the TV, and he's like, "That was just who I talked to, and they rejected me too." So Joey comes in the room. What happens here?
You should have seen the headlights on the chick at the auto store. Talk about high beams. Whoa! And the whoa saved that. Yeah. I was like, here we go. But yeah. That's you. Whoa, thing. Joey. Boys will be boys.
Right. So he has a date with Debbie Nielsen tonight, and he wants to use the car. But Joey, there's no engine in the car. Tony was planning on working on the car tonight. Joey is planning on working in the car tonight.
He's going to take this girl on a date in a car that doesn't drive just to be in the car. And I can't tell if I like that or not.
But he says he doesn't need it to drive anyways.
Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden we learn that Joey is smart about cars and Tony is dumb. So they've like reversed roles here. I thought that was really fun. Because then he starts giving Tony some of his own Tony Dick medicine about being dumb. And Tony's just taking it. He's like, yeah, I guess I deserve that. That was fun. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, it was good. I liked it.
And then here we go, Sal. We go straight into the DENNIS system episode of Always Sunny because Six walks into the room and drops her condom.
Yeah.
One of the greatest moments of Always Sunny. I thought you'd like that.
I didn't even put that together. But yeah, she purposely drops a whole bunch of condoms on the Blossom's floor. And then she goes on like a typical Six rant about how she was like trying to buy them. And in the end, she ended up sneaking into the men's room at a gas station to get them.
Yep.
And again,
she's lucky that's like all she got, sneaking into the men's room at a truck stop gas station. I wrote here, Blossom equals no hat, Six equals hat, and protection.
Yep. There it is. And then Blossom's still, giving her grief about how she's sure she wants to do this. And then she says that she loves Kevin, wants to spend the rest of her life with him. Kevin didn't even exist last week, but here we are. And then I put that, it's a little rich of Blossom to be so unsure about this with Six when she was all in on Vinny instantly. She was 100% in on Vinny like right away.
Yeah.
And now she's giving Six the gears for this. But then we get very special episode music to break as Six says tonight she's getting rid of her virginity. And we get like a zoom in on her face.
In my opinionation, that's pretty hypocritical of Blossom. But as you
do. Yeah.
But I mean, maybe as a teenager you probably didn't think that. That's probably exactly how teenagers would act, to be honest. So, I mean, I'm sure it was a happy accident, but I'm sure Blossom would be like, "No, don't." Just because she didn't. I don't know. I care about nothing until this next scene, Sal. This next scene just is an atomic bomb across the Blossom universe. Okay, I want you to go first. We go to commercial break. We come out, and Six is in the car, about to lose her virginity. To who, Sal?
Yeah.
To who?
Well, she's with Kevin. The crowd's wooing. Kevin is Zack Morris. So if I just kept a tally here, if we're keeping a tally of other characters from popular TV shows at the time that have shown up on Blossom, we're at 2 for Fresh Prince and 2 for Saved by the Bell now.
They sit up in the back seat, and I see Zack Morris. And he's the same guy. Yeah. They took his character from Saved by the Bell and dropped it into the Blossom universe. It's Zack
Morris. I said maybe that's why Blossom didn't approve of Kevin, because he looks exactly like Zack Morris, and she knows that Zack Morris is a trash human being.
I wrote, "Are you kidding me? It's Kevin is Zack Morris. Six has been saving her bell for Zack Morris."
'Cause I'm saved by the bell.
I'll give you a second there. I'll do
Yeah.
it again. We learned that Six
No,
has
I
been
got it.
saving her bell for Zack Morris.
'Cause I'm saved by the bell.
Second time
Yeah.
better?
Yeah.
I expected
no,
a
they're-
lot of laughter for that. I was proud of that. Okay, fine. You know what? You guys, I'm going to keep going, okay? How do we even go from here, Sal? So is he just trying to get back at Kelly, who worked at the video store rental, the video rental store with Joey? And Joey
Yeah.
wouldn't sleep with Kelly, and now she's trying to get back, right? Like, Six should at least hold out for Slater. I'll bet AC could rock her world better than this trash Morris guy. Like, poor Six is just going to be nothing but a tally in a Bayside high locker, right? Principal Belding, I hope, is out catching fireflies tonight and accidentally bumps into the car and breaks it up. Like, where is this going to go, Sal? I'm so excited that Zack Morris is in this episode of Blossom.
'Cause I'm saved by the bell.
Yeah. And again, no crowd reaction at all for the actor showing up in this role.
He
Which I
was
thought
there
was
for a
kinda
total
weird.
of like 90 seconds.
Yeah, it
one-
was another odd cameo that they just kind of stuffed into the show.
But Zack Morris, like, they need some predatory guy. And who do they call? They call Zack Morris.
Who's the first
I love
person
it.
they thought of?
I love it.
Get Mark Paul Gosselaar on the phone.
Why do we cut away? I'm so annoyed. We cut away from this to go back to like the C story. But Joey
Yeah.
now.
Well, before that's happening though, like Six is talking to Kevin about how they're gonna be together forever. And you already know where this is going. Like he just wants her to shut up and bang.
Yeah.
Like she's going on about how many kids they want to have and what kind of house they want, and he's just basically trying to get her to stop talking. And that's kind of where it's going before they cut away.
Joey is in a tank top on the couch, and just the way it's shot, I'm like, hey, we're leaning into Joey Lawrence as the beefcake of this show. We're leaning into that now.
Right. Right.
Yeah, and I said, no wonder Six is all revved up today if she saw that. Joey in the tank
Yeah,
top.
totally.
Tony comes out dressed like a pink angel, and I don't care because Six is in a car with Zack Morris right now, but I didn't track any of this.
'Cause I'm saved by the bell.
Oh, so Nick comes down in the morning. He's wearing a robe, and he's mad that Joey has car parts scattered all over the living room on top of newspapers. And his whole thing is that he's mad that Joey used the Sunday paper for this. So he makes him go buy him a new newspaper. So Joey leaves. And then, yeah, Tony comes in wearing a fluffy pink robe, and the crowd is going nuts over this. And he says it's Rhonda's robe because his is in the wash. And then Nick's like, oh, don't worry, I wasn't going to ask. And he goes, good, because I'm lying. And the crowd erupted even more with that joke for some reason.
Hilarious. I wrote,
And that
Six
was the
didn't
whole point of
audition
it.
for the band, but she's still getting the Zack attack. Blossom's interviewing a rabbi, but I don't care, because Six was apparently saving her bell for Zack Morris. Zack is no Joe Cocker, but I'll bet he's saying you can leave your hat on to Six. You Can Leave Your Hat On was a song by Joe Cocker. And the fact that his last name is Cocker wasn't lost on me
get
either.
it.
'Cause I'm saved by the bell.
I'm ducking out,
How
Sal.
long do you take to
I
write
can't
these,
take
Van?
this.
How long?
Go. Just
So,
go.
yeah,
Say something.
Blossom knocks on the door to the rabbi. He tells her to come
No,
in.
sorry,
He's
I'm
on his
back.
floor.
Zack should break away from his band Zack Attack and go solo as the Bayside Cocker. The police can obviously use that as a serial killer nickname when he eventually grows up and starts hurting people for real. Because if you've ever watched a single minute of Saved by the Bell, you know Zack Morris is an actual narcissistic psychopath. Now,
'Cause I'm saved by the bell.
Bayside Cocker,
You sure
Sal.
about that? Well done.
Thank you.
Well done. I don't even know where to
She
go
meets a
from here.
rabbi and she's like, right now my best friend's getting her dreidel spun. I don't know what to do.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, this rabbi's given her all this A material about being a rabbi, and then he asks her if she wants to hear he tells her what it's like to be Jewish. And then he says, if you want to hear more, you should come to my service on Friday. You can sit next to Roseanne and Tom. And she's like, Arnold? And he's like, sure, there'll be Arnolds, a couple of Murrays, maybe even a Maury. And I know that there's a joke in there about, didn't Tom Arnold convert to Judaism or something?
Probably.
I think that was yeah. And then she decides to ask the rabbi about sex, and she's like, oh, a friend of mine, and he's like, oh, sure, it's always a friend of yours, whatever. And basically the moral that he tells her is like, just keep your pants on. And then he tells her, he's
shut. Which is also another good Jewish lesson.
Yeah, but that's
my
also
favorite
what
part though.
That's also what Zack Morris wanted Six to do too. So.
Right. He goes, how old is your friend? And Blossom goes 15 and a half. And he goes, oh, thank goodness for that half.
Yeah.
That was a good line. I said, Blossom's now alone in a room with this rabbi discussing sex. And I wrote, thank God she chose Judaism and not another popular religion, or this conversation would be going much differently.
Wow.
I love when I walk a joke right up to the line and I'm like, that should be safe, and then you just Leroy Jenkins right through it, just in case he didn't get who Curtis was subtly making fun of. There it is. Take that.
What are we even doing here? Yeah. What are we even doing here? His parting wisdom with Blossom here.
Phenom is gone, Sal.
I don't know if we can keep this.
He is out. You broke Phenom.
I'm rolling my chair away from the screen.
He wants nothing to do with this.
This episode not produced by the Phenom. He's taking his name off the credits.
Yep.
What's the name that like directors use when like a studio like makes the director change the movie from their original vision, so then they end up like as a protest they don't want to put their name on it? There's like an actual name that directors put.
Oh, I don't know.
And I can't remember it off the top of my head, but that's what Phenom's going to do with this one. Anyway, so this rabbi's parting wisdom to Blossom is to tell her friend not to be in such a hurry to grow up. And then he strokes her face, like caresses her face really oddly. I got uncomfortable. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We go back to the Blossom's room. She's writing a paper.
By the way, the pseudonym that directors use is Alan Smithy.
Alan Smithy.
When they don't want to. Yeah, so that's who's producing this episode.
Yeah.
Because Phenom's out.
Yeah. So Blossom is writing her paper, and she says, quote, so standing on one foot, he replied, I said, and speaking of standing on one foot, here comes Six. I just assume Zack Morris is into like freak. Do you think she told him that she likes being pinched like she told Joey the week before? Like, I have so many questions about
probably.
this. I have so many questions about this.
You're very invested into this.
Zack Morris and Six. How?
I mean, it is a crossover that I wasn't expecting to see.
How is this not only is it a crossover, but it's not just like, oh, it's some guy at a party that stole their car keys. It's like Zack Morris came over here to bang Six. How have we not? How are we learning about this for the first time? This seems like some like lore that we would have known about on episode 1. To be like, remember the episode where Zack Morris banged Six? Like that should have been day 1 before fucking Adam Duritz, before the guy from the Aerosmith video, before Steven Dorff, before the Gallagher, before all this. We should have been talking about.
Whoa! Did you forget Steven Dorff's name? I'm shocked.
Six. What?
Yeah. Did you forget Steven Dorff's name? I am shocked. You used to bring him up every single episode.
I had 1 second, okay, Sal? Took me a second. Jeez. Still love Steven Dorff, don't you worry.
Jeez.
She sits down.
You're very sensitive this episode.
And Blossom says, you look different. She goes, I am different, and I don't want to talk about it. Maybe she turned into like a super freak. And Zach was like, damn, girl, you're dirtier than Jessie. And she did the movie Showgirls.
I'm just going to let you keep going.
We go into a flashback, and we learn that she, after all, guess what, guys? She denied Zack Morris, and this maybe was his moment. Maybe he was a good guy until this moment, and he went back to Bayside and took this out on every single other character, right? So they fight. She realizes that all he wants is to have sex with her, so she cuts him off. And he's like, you led me on. He's like, and she goes, no, I didn't.
Guilting her.
Okay, I did.
Yeah.
And I thought that was good. So,
well.
No, they don't usually explore that side of it. So she took a little, not that is an excuse, but she like owned up a little bit, even though like it's still, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's not, he wasn't completely predatory. She was like, okay, yeah, sorry, I did lead you on a little bit, but now I'm out, and you have to respect that. But I just thought they don't usually have her, in that situation.
He wasn't, I wouldn't say he was really predatory here, but he was just an ass.
For sure.
Yeah, so he was mad at her for wanting to slow things down, and he was like, oh, well, you promised me like this was going to happen tonight. And then he's like kind of guilting her for the whole thing.
And then then he like kicks her out of the car and makes her walk home because she won't put out.
Yeah.
And I said, this, in all seriousness, this is it, Sal. This should have been like season 1, episode 2 storyline. Like this is the kind of storyline they should be doing in Blossom, and why they only do it once every like 7 weeks, I'll never know. But these are the kind of storylines they should be exploring in the show Blossom, aimed at girls in high school in 1992. And why they run away from these storylines and do goofy shit every chance they get, I will never know. Because this is good stuff. Like this is
we're
learning stuff here. Yeah,
I agree. And I mean, this whole attitude checks out for Zack Morris. And as you said, they casted the right guy for sure.
Yeah.
So Blossom calls him a jerk for not driving her home. And Six says, well, he wouldn't have gotten home anyways because I stole his keys. And she holds them up. And we get the Carell draw for the end of the episode.
And I said, this is it, man.
So, Six's acting here was great, where she was like super upset with the way that he treated her and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I thought she was really good in this scene.
So Zack Morris, full on crying. Zack Morris has to call his mom and say he lost his keys and he's alone on Makeout Mountain.
Yeah.
His mom has to get him, and then AC Slater and Screech make fun of him for the rest of the year, and he gets enveloped by this darkness. Right? His soul goes black, and he takes it out over everyone else over the next 5 seasons and 86 episodes. The 2-hour made-for-TV movie Hawaiian Style, 2 seasons of college years, and spotty cameo appearances in the new class. It's all because of Six. All because she cut him off. It was her. I mean, he went back and dated Lisa, who also wore stupid hats. It's all here, Sal.
That's true.
This is the most important episode of Blossom we've ever watched.
I think you're right, except the timeline doesn't add up because Saved by the Bell
timeline, Sal.
Saved by the Bell ended in 1992, and this show didn't air until the fall of 1992. So, Saved by the Bell was over by the time.
Take it up with story editor Jonathan Schmuck.
I would like to.
Yeah.
I would like to. He played the smarmy maitre d' in Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
He did.
Yeah. I would love to talk to that guy.
So he says.
Yeah.
He can't. He was also in the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones.
What?
You know, it's like next time you're at a party, just tell people you're one of the members of the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones. No one can prove or disprove it. You have to be there.
Valid.
It's funny, okay? Listen.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Well, that's the end of the episode. What's your lesson this week?
I have not been writing lessons, but I mean, this one's pretty obvious. Don't let your first time be with Zack Morris. That goes across all, like, really. What's his real name? Mark Paul Gossier? What's his name?
Mark Paul Gosselaar.
Gosselaar. Tried to put a little French thing on it. Gosselaar.
And he played Kevin. He's in the pit.
Yeah.
Alan King played Rabbi Greenblatt, also in the pit. And that's all I got.
Do we like Mark Paul Gosselaar? Is he a good dude in real life?
I think so.
I remember seeing an interview where they had like the whole cast of the original Saved by the Bell, and somebody was like, I'm really disappointed in your show. Like they were getting like questions from the audience. He's like, that you never address the real issues. Like you have such a platform for kids, and you never address issues. It's always just like fluff storylines every show. Why don't you address the issues? And there was like a pause, and nobody really knew what to say. And he leaned forward to the mic. And he's like, because we're on at 9 a.m. Saturday mornings, and like people need a break. And I was like, oh, nice.
Yeah.
He shut that kid down. Yeah, that's why. I think Zach doesn't know about the issues, kid. He is the issues.
Good for him.
Yeah. what a ride. What a great episode.
That was a good episode, actually.
Absolutely. I can't believe that wasn't top rated.
Yeah.
Can't win them all, I guess. If you're still there,
No.
I think this chair is still spinning. He just left. He noped out.
Alan Smithy has left the
Alan
chat.
Smith is gone.
I'm still here.
Ah!
It's a 7.7 out of 10 on IMDb.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
And I think 8 is the cutoff for top rated.
Oh my God. Okay.
Okay. Well,
Get ready
we'll
to
take
beep.
it. We'll take it.
I mean, yeah. This was the episode he ate 6.
I'm sorry. There's going to be a lot of edits. You can cut whatever you like.
'Cause I'm safe out the bell.
I apologize.
It's fine. I made a number joke and you missed it. That's okay.
Sorry.
Fine. It wasn't very good.
Okay.
Get us out of here, Phenom.
See you next week,
It's been
folks.
a long day.
See you next week.
Next week, Season 3, Episode 14, Ruby.
Okay.
Good stuff.
Goodbye, everybody.
Don't know.